Today I'm going to be using this large Trinity cup card die from Trinity's latest release to make a teacup shaped thank you card for a teacher. Hey crafty people, it's Tasha. Welcome back to my channel. If you like this video then please do give me a thumbs up, and if you aren't already subscribed then I would absolutely love it if you would please consider hitting that button. This is the main part of the die. It's going to cut out the front of your card, the back of your card, and will add the crease line in for you as well. So it cuts it out in one piece. Now, I only have a standard Gemini, the junior one I mean, so it is actually a little bit longer than my plates are, but that's not a problem at all. You don't have to have one of the bigger machines or bigger plates, and show you how I got around that. So I trimmed down some, this is Neenah £110. You do want some quite heavy, heavyweight paper because this is going to be your card base itself. So I'm taping it into place with some low tack tape because I don't want that shifting during the die cutting up process, especially because I've got it so that the end of the die was not between those plates, so that's not going to cut. So I run it through and then I shift the die down so that the other end is between the plates, and you can then just cut that. So it's easy to do, it's not a problem. So I decided that I wanted the inside part of the cup to be inside the card, so I cut that piece from the actual card base, and then I cut some other pieces that I would need to make this card. I'm not going to use the lemon slice or the mint today, but they are adorable. So I grabbed out some, these are Ulta Crisp dye inks, and I started to blend. You want it to look like a round object, because obviously it would be. So for that you're going to have darker colour to the edges, and you're going to want to highlight to be roughly central. There is a piece that cuts out a highlight to go on the side, so we had that on top. But you can see here I'm trying to use tape and some scrap paper to mask off the handle part that I don't want to get this ink on, and I'm doing all this, and then any minute now I realise there's a mask and stencil set for this card. Oh, so I could have saved myself a lot of stress if I'd just grabbed that out straight away. So there's a tip. And you can see there's quite a harsh line there where I've blended onto the highlight portion, and so I was just seeing if I wanted it on the other side to make up for that, so I could just swap it over, but I didn't. I wanted it by the handle, but I just decided to just carry on going as I was, and then I do manage to fix that later, but that's because I didn't tap all the excess ink off my brush, and you really need to. So you get a little piece that forms like the bottom of the cup, and then also you get, there's the piece that's the inner part of the mug that you would see if you were looking at it, and then there's a piece that is like the, you know, whatever the contents of the cup are, so I coloured that to be like tea. So I'm still blending here, trying really hard to make sure that I've got everywhere that I need to, but not anywhere that I don't want that colour, and I'm just building that depth of colour up. Like I said, you can see I'm getting my darkest colours on the either outside edge of the cup, and a highlight down the middle. You don't want that to be like perfectly smack bang in the middle and perfectly, you know, straight all the way down or anything like that, because that wouldn't look natural. So here's the stencil. I can't believe that I did that. there's a mask for you to use to cover the cup, and you can put the handle stencil in place and colour the handle, and yeah, it's much easier. It makes much more sense. But hey, I'll make these mistakes so you don't have to. And you can see just how much easier it is when you have got that mask and stencil set. So I grabbed this as the piece that becomes the contents of your cup. So I'm just colouring it in with some alcohol markers. I've then got the little heart that is in the tea bag thing that comes out, you know, like it's on like a string with a little label, I think that's the right word. So I've coloured the heart in red, and then I'm just adding a little bit of shading to that label with some warm grey Copics, just so that it doesn't look quite so flat. I'm not bothering to colour the back of the cup. Obviously you can, but I wasn't bothered about that being clear, because obviously you would have that anyway. So there, I took that little decorative part of the stencil and I used it to add some gold gel pen through them holes to give myself a little decorative oval, but unfortunately my camera missed that bit. But I just literally used a gel pen through the stencil. I'm adding a little bit of white gel pen highlights to that extra highlight piece and also to the other side of the cup. And then I've got the stencil out again, and there's like a little yellow flower on the stencil. So I ink blended that and then fussy cut it 3 times. I used all Altenew Crisp dye inks, but I did use sort of slightly darker colours on 2 of them, so that, you know, there's a lighter one, medium one and a dark one basically. So I've fussy cut them out, and I'm just bending those petals up a little bit, and then I'm gluing them together in the centre just to give myself a little layered flower accent to add to my cup, because I thought that might look nice. And for the centre of the flower I used one of the gold, I think the gold satin, I think the matte gold baubles. I will have them all linked below. You can see I'm using my Trinity pickup tool for that. This thing is awesome. I love it. So I've glued that, or I am now gluing that little bauble into the centre of my flower. Obviously you don't have to do this. It does make it a little bit more bulky than just a flat card, and you can just ink blend the flower directly onto your card if you want to, but I wanted to add a little bit extra. So I'm taking the contents of the cup that I coloured, and I'm just smishing that down into some Wow Ultra Slow Drying embossing ink, and then sprinkling some clear embossing powder on the top, just because I thought that would give it a nice glaze, make it look a bit more liquidy, liquefied. You know what I mean? So I added a little bit of tape to the back of the little tag, and stuck the heart into it. Then I'm adding the other little bits onto the front of the card. I haven't folded and creased it until this point because I wanted to have it quite flat to work on. But now I want to add these pieces into the centre. Now you don't have to add them to the centre. You can actually dye embosses them itself, but I decided to cut that bit out because I wanted to have the contents of the cup inside, so that when you opened it they were sitting inside there. I just thought that was a cute little extra thing, so I folded the cup so that I could get those in the right place. So I've added my flower, and then I'm just deciding whereabouts I want to have my label coming out. And because I've got that opening as well, that means that I can actually hook the string for the label over and into the inside of my cup, so that it really does look like it's coming out of the liquid. So inside I stamped a sentiment and a little image from the, oh my goodness me, what's it called? The Slimline Tea Party type thing. I'm so sorry, I will have it linked below. But the Slimline set, so it says "You are terrific." I opted not to have a sentiment on the front because I just liked how the cup looked itself, and then I gave this to my youngest daughter's teacher. So that's my finished card. I love it. I'm just showing you there that it does fit into a standard A2 envelope, which is really awesome. You don't have to worry about having any special envelope or anything like that. And yeah, I love this set. You can use that stencil as well, either with the die set, or you can use it on its own to create just a teacup on the front of a card, for example. So I hope that you liked the video. If you do, then please do give me a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed, then I would love it if you would please consider hitting that button. I hope that you have a lovely, happy, safe, wonderful week. Stay crafty. Bye.